I'm going to give you 4 historically uncommon reasons to do a refinance that in this economy are becoming very, very commonplace. So some of this is actually due to like economic strain. So number 1 would be to build an emergency fund or build back an emergency fund. Shocking amount of Americans could not handle $1,000 emergency. There's been all kinds of studies. I think they'd say like 70 to 80% of Americans couldn't handle $1,000 or a couple $1,000 emergency. Well, at the same time, Americans have all-time record equity in their homes, right? So a lot of Americans are tapping into that equity to build that emergency fund. Number 2 is actually pay off student loans. I know the Biden administration just passed some kind of forgiveness, but I believe that's only for $10,000. There's a ton of people out there with even 6 figures in student loan debt, and now because of this unprecedented rise in home values, they have a lot of opportunity to eliminate some, if not all of that, possibly get a better rate, get it on a term they can manage. There might be several different advantages to doing it that way. Obviously, only having to make the one payment. You may sell your home in a few years anyway, so it could kind of give you some breathing room till you do that. So there are times where it's very helpful to pay off student debt within a mortgage. I'm not saying you should always do it, but case by case basis, there might be some better options for your student debt. Number 3 is paying off auto loan debt, believe it or not. If you have poor credit, you very well may have a higher rate on your car loan or your RV than what your mortgage is. I did a loan once for a couple. They had a 12% interest rate, or 12 or 12 and a half on an auto loan, and 20 something on an RV. And at the time, rates were very good, so I got them into maybe in the high 2s as far as the rate. Also, the ability to stretch out the term, right? So you don't have such a high monthly burden. And also a tax advantage, right? You typically wouldn't get a tax advantage on a personal automobile loan. But with a home loan, typically there's some tax advantages, but consult with the CPA. And then number 4 is actually using a refinance to go out and purchase more property. So I say this is due to like the new economy, the new world, because there's so much more access to information. A lot of people on Main Street want to be real estate investors and have a real estate portfolio. That's one of the reasons I made this channel and I made my newsletter. So that's kind of a positive one. That's something where, middle class Americans can really build generational wealth, multi-million-dollar wealth through doing that strategy correctly over and over through time. So I'm going to leave a more detailed list, and I'm going to leave a link to my newsletter in general. That's something that gives you a lot of detailed information on some of these topics, things like qualifying for a mortgage, how to improve credit, how to get the best deal, how to make sure you're working with the best lender. So I'll leave that below if you'd wish to subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free to leave them below, and I will answer them as soon as I can.